If the president cares about this country, he should care about these mothers who are here. He claims no one has been abducted. We have a list of those being abducted. We have shared the list. He promised compensation for the victims. We came with the families with one agenda, asking for justice for the victims, for the disappeared, and accountability. But we were met with brutality and violence by the police. It's been 3 months since the protest, and we still have masked police in our streets. Why are they being masked in the streets? We are asking our government, if the police are upholding rule of law, why are they coming masked? And why are they targeting me specifically? So we have told the principal secretary to go and tell the president that next week shall be back here. And if there is no justice for the victims, they're going back to the streets. If there is no justice, we're going back to the streets. And we know very well that it's our right to protest. It's not a favor by the president. It's a right by the Constitution. And we're going to do it. If the president cares about this country, he should care about these mothers who are here. He claims no one has been abducted. We have a list of those being abducted. We have shared the list. He promised compensation for the victims. We know very well that money can never bring back any life. But if he promised compensation, it can at least help the families to pay for bills and to move on in a small way. So we're asking for compensation for the victims. We're asking for justice. And we demand for the firing of the officers who murdered innocent citizens. The crime scene is Parliament. Parliament has CCTV cameras. We know very well those cameras were working on the day of the protest. We demand that the government to make that footage public. City Hall has CCTV footage of what happened there. Make that public. Supreme Court, because we know very well on June 25th, there were criminals who were in the streets. Criminals paid by politicians. And they came because they were paid. And their financials are known, they've never been arrested. Listen, the president is a coward because every other day he's insulted by other people on top of vehicles. And he doesn't do anything. But when we come to the streets, protected by the Constitution, he comes after us. Why is he after innocent people? If he's a man enough, if he's not a murderer, go after the killers of the innocent people, go after the people who sponsored the violence in the streets. Because none of us, none of the people who are murdered, none of the people who are in the streets on that particular day who are here today were involved in the treasonous action. So we feel victimized by the government. And all you're asking is, Mr. President, if you're unable to lead us, you must resign. Yes, because we can't live in constant violence. Every day we're being arrested, we're being abducted, we're being murdered. If you're unable to uphold the Constitution, if you're unable to lead this country through rule of law, we're asking for you to resign. It's not a must to lead us. It's not a must for him to lead us. Because you say this, and you said this before, you cannot kill us and lead us. You cannot do that. Kama umeshindwa na kazi, enda nyumbani. I know you can go to Sugoi when ukae huko. By the way, go retire with Rachel and your grandkids. This country has 54 million Kenyans. You're not the only one who can lead us. Na tukisema Ruto waende, tuseme Ruto peke yake. Tunasema Ruto na Rigathi waende. They should all go. This government is a government of murderers. We're asking for them, if they cannot give us justice, compensation, accountability, they resign en masse. Wote ni wafanyikazi wetu. Ruto ni mfanyikazi wetu. He should never forget that. Even the guys who are arresting us today, these people in uniform here today, all of them work for us. Let us not forget who is the boss. We are the bosses. And next week, if they do not respond to our demands, we're back in the streets. We're coming back to the streets. By force, by fire, we're back in the streets. Come on, kuja tuwe Ruto basi.
As you might know, since the president said that he doesn't have any list, we have made several attempts, not just here at the office of the president, but also at State House, to try and deliver this list. And today we were confirmed, and they told us to come at 2:30. But when we were out here waiting to go inside, police from, I don't know, the killer cops that we've been seeing all along, masked, came here and tried to arrest some of our colleagues, and we were here with the families of victims, and we are saying this country is not a police state. How can we be out here waiting to meet the principal administrative secretary, and then some hooligan police officers, masked and, in plain clothes, come here to try and arrest, to brutalize our delegation, and we are saying this is uncalled for. And we know them. Tunawajua hao polisi. Now the way they put wanted men on billboards, we have their pictures and we intend to do that. We will put their pictures on billboards na tuwatangaze na tuambie Kenyans that these are rogue police officers who are violating the constitution, who are violating the law. And as a country, we cannot allow rogue police officers to roam our streets, killing people, disappearing people. That's the first thing that we need to have out very clearly. Secondly, we have handed over the list. These are stamped letters and lists that we have now submitted to the presidency. That song of saying we don't have a list, we don't know who is missing, we don't know who has been killed in the protests, that song must now cease. This letter has officially been received. The list has officially been received by the presidency. On his behalf, Mr. Osia, the principal administrative secretary, told us this list has been received and that he will ensure it gets to the president. What we want to see now is action. And we have assured them any support they need. If they want the post-mortem reports, we will give them. If they want the burial permits, we will give them. If they want to know the family to record statements, we will give them. We want those rogue police officers arrested. And we have agreed that within 7 days, we will be back here. We will be back here to follow up, to know what action has been taken. Kenyans cannot be dying left, right, and center, killed by the same bullets that they pay for as taxpayers. Enough is enough already. We want those rogue officers interdicted and arraigned before a court of law so that action can be taken to ensure that the right to peaceful assembly is guaranteed in this country.
Wewe bana.
Look at cowards! You're covering your face! Who are you? Who are you?
They are ready.
Ruto is a murderer. Let me say this. The man who sits in this office is a murderer. Ruto is a murderer.
He must go.
Ruto is a murderer. Mwangi. Ruto must go.
He
must go, murderer.
What happened?
We were just standing. Your gari imekuja. You will not.
Ruto is a murderer.
Hakuna kitu tumefanya hata.
Seriously, we're just waiting for
you to come back.
So do we go in or we touch?
We still go.
Yeah, he said 15 people. We've negotiated 15.
Twin gear.
And that is us. You are the first one, in fact. Boss, nisabie watu. Nisabie. Haya, kuja hapa. And we will complain. Tuko ndani until they release.
Hakuna kamera.
Hakuna kamera.
Rudi hivi.
Kamera
nje. The rest.
Kamera nje.
Wacha aende peke yake.
Tutapewa watu. Sawa. Ngoja tutapewa watu.
Tulia.
Kwanza nyinyi mnaona venye tunavurugwa hapa, instead of protecting us mumesimama tu.
Tunajua huko Kenya tunavuka.
Nyinyi mmewaita bana coward.
Tunakujiwa kamera na mimi sio poa.
Amekuja kamera.
The fact that we're here today is a moment that we don't wish on any family. And it's sad that our country is to protect its young people, their futures. This administration entered government saying that they support young people. And we're seeing here that they're cutting young people's lives short. Young people only demanding for justice. They're only demanding for accountability. And now we have here mothers and siblings coming and speaking on behalf of the voices that have been silent. Kenya cannot continue like this. We cannot permit Kenya to continue like this. And we need to stand strong with these families because it's sad what's happening and the fact that here we are trying to move on as a country when families cannot sleep at night, wondering where their children are, wondering whether they've eaten that night and whether they're going to come back home. The torment, and this has happened for more than 60 days. We're still questioning where these young people are. And for those who have been killed, we have seen absolutely no accountability from the police. The same police who are here masked, trying to abduct and arrest activists here who are standing on behalf of their families and just pushing for justice and accountability. We have seen nothing. So this country will have no peace, frankly speaking, if it's killing its young people. It will have no peace. And what we're demanding here is justice and accountability from the police. Lerima Wako. Siasa Police Director. I'm an activist.
Comrades power. Comrades power. Comrades real. Comrades TPM. First of all, my name is Anthony Manyara. Yeah. First of all, my name is Anthony Manyara, the president of Kenya University Students Organization, KUSO. Today we have come here in solidarity with one of us, Governor Ojambo, who was arrested yesterday, and on very flimsy grounds, which are unfounded, which we believe are nowhere hinged on the Constitution. I feel like what is bringing us here today is the de facto right to express ourselves. The Kenya University Students Organization has been for a long time and has been supporting the freedom to express ourselves without being intimidated, without being harassed, and without being detained for no apparent reason. Yesterday what we saw is a student who was carrying a jerrycan of something which cannot be substantiated, whether it's water, whether it's alcohol, or whether it's petrol. And this is something we want to still to establish. As you have seen here today, the legal counsel, who we want to thank so much, that is Mr. Dunstan Omari, he has categorically said that in this country, what students are fighting for are their rights. Article 43 of the Constitution incorporates the need, or rather the right to education for every Kenyan. Not just students, even adults can be able to access education as well. But it more guarantees that the government has the mandate to ensure it educates you. That essence of accessing decent education. If you look even at the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, number 4, if you look at the African Union Agenda 2063, they all support education. So therefore stands to reason the university students in this country are barometers of wisdom and cathedrals of knowledge. These are intellectuals. They have gone to the streets not to advance anarchy, not to oppose the leadership of this government. Actually, sometimes we look like if we are anti-government, and that is not the case. These people are fighting for their own rights. They want education to be affordable. Their parents are crying daily. They cannot go to the university, admit even twins, or even admit even one student who is not being put to band 5, which actually is the most oppressive part of that time. Our concern and our plight is that these demonstrations will be successive until the government considers, it ensures, it sympathizes, it cares for the welfare of students. Students are not fighting for just this allocation, or rather university's funding model alone. Even as we speak right now, there's a lot of delays when it comes to help. Higher Education Laws Board has delayed the funds deliberately. And right now, students are getting to the university, having problems to pay school fees, having problems to access loans from the government, having problems to access bursaries and what do you call them? Scholarships. These are plethora of issues which are very much not just subjecting a student to depression, but also making it very difficult even to thrive and to study. Finally, even you look at the situation of accommodation in these universities, even food itself, students cannot afford. When I'm speaking right now, there is a common term which actually I know every Kenyan knows. Students wanainama, whereby you skip a meal, you skip 2 meals, you decide to just forget about hunger, so that at least you thrive in this country. So, in my opinion, as the president, we are not going to relent. Mine is just tell comrades across the country not to fear, not to feel intimidated, not to back down. We will ensure that we fight for what is right. These students are not fighting to destabilize the country. They are fighting to make it more better, secure the future of their brothers and sisters, to secure their own future, and to ensure we live in a more better country, which coexistence is not just a privilege for the few. This education should not be affordable for the rich few. It should be affordable to the hoi polloi, to the young people who come from very needy and deserving backgrounds. Thank you so much. As well, that before even governors addressed this, that not just now that my colleague has addressed it, we want to thank Governor Sonko, and we even invite very many Kenyans of goodwill also to come on board and support comrades. This is just not the future of students, this is the future of the future generations. So I want to thank Governor Sonko, and also in extension to thank Danstan Omari, who has come to stand on behalf of these comrades pro bono, actually. Pro bono, who has ensured that he feels the pinch, that he feels the only issue that is affecting his own child, to come here and stand with students in this country.
An injury to one comrade is an injury to all comrades. Governor.
Thank you very much. My name is Abdul.